All right, so my name's Najir, this is Terrell, and welcome to Otakon 2021.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you here this year, in a really crazy year, you know? But I'm very excited to talk about so many of your projects and your affiliations and whatnot. But I guess I got to start with the big one here. You have voiced so many characters, or a lot, where you voice characters in both Fire Emblem, Three Houses, as well as Persona 5.
Yes.
What is it like to be here at Otakon and to see the craze of this big fandom of this video game here?
It's amazing. Honestly, this is the first convention I've gotten to do since either of those games came out.
Yeah.
So it's a little overwhelming, and in a good way.
Yeah.
I just, you record and it comes out, and you've got people on Twitter that are like, "Yay, I loved you," and you're like, "Thank you so much." But it's not the same as meeting a person face to face and being like, "I'm so happy that you liked my work," because you do all of that work in a bubble, and you're like, "I like it," and the director likes it. Yay! I hope other people do.
Yeah.
So it's been a real honor getting to meet people that liked the work.
Yes. Congratulations for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, I guess kind of following up with the Persona question. Of course, played Royal, beat Royal. Gotta say, I don't know if you've gotten through that, or you read the script, so you knew where.
Yeah, you can't spoil me on what happens.
Gotta say, I didn't see that coming at all, especially playing the original. Really teared me up. Caught me out of left field.
Yeah.
I guess kind of reading that, what was your reaction to where Kasumi was going and Royal? And the twist on that, I guess.
Yeah. It actually, she means a whole lot to me. Not to go into too many spoilers, but early on they established that Kasumi has a sister who passed away.
Right.
And I didn't know that about her when I auditioned for the character and booked the character. But when I found out in the booth, I also had a little sister who passed away when we were both teenagers. And it spoke to me so much. And for myself, dedicated my entire performance to her the minute I found out about that. And so Kasumi's always going to mean a lot to me that way. I like to think that people can hear that coming through in the performance.
Yeah.
When you get to those scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
About
a lot.
to get me right now.
I definitely appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. I know, I hate to bring the room down,
No,
but also
no.
it really means a lot to me, so.
This wasn't a question I had, but I guess I have to ask then, as a professional, there's a routine or strategy upon taking roles, but with something so personal to you, how did you cope to get the job done?
I mean, that's just part of being an actor, is tapping into those things that are there and then being able to kind of turn it off.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about grief is that it's always there.
Yeah.
It never really goes away. You learn to just deal with it in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a lot of Kasumi's story, is learning to handle that grief and how you continue to proceed through life with that, because it never does go away. She wants it to go away, but that's not how the human experience works.
Yeah.
So to tap into it isn't really that hard, because it's always there.
Yes, that's true. Terrell, upon preparing for this, had said this was the character he wanted to talk about the most with you. And I think we both can agree that it's easily your best performance, if
Thank
anything.
you.
But to know now this story is touching.
Yeah, it's definitely
She is one of my top characters. I know actors tend to go, "Oh, I can't possibly pick a favorite character. They're all my babies," and that's true. But Kasumi is definitely in my top characters, if not my favorite character I've voiced so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard you say that you tend to be typecast into playing dancers, every game.
People were saying that when she came out, because she had come out, and there was Sylvia in Fire Emblem Heroes, and there was Primrose in Octopath Traveler, and it was like, yeah, there have been, and Nozomi in Love Live. I was like, oh, there have been a few dancers. I'll take it.
So
I can't dance.
I was going to say, does that translate?
I can play DDR like no one's business, but I can't dance.
That counts for sure. So obviously we know your favorite character, and that was going to be my question before I knew about this backstory.
I mean, there are other characters I like a great deal.
Okay. Well, I'd love to hear that. I also would love to hear then what character did you find to be the most challenging to take upon?
Ragyo Kiryuin from Kill la Kill was a very, very, very challenging character for me. She's vocally in like a very, I mean, it feels like it wouldn't be difficult, but she's down at the bottom of my range, but she also has that strength and that elegance. So there's that vocally, it's in a very like tense place, and then she's also like yelling like crazy, and she's got minutes of maniacal laughter that I don't know how Romy Park does it, because she just never breathes, I guess. I don't know. But that was a really challenging role for me. But Alex Von David, the director, did a great job with that whole show.
Yeah.
And he was really in my corner through that whole recording experience.
Yeah.
So, as for other roles that are some of my favorites, Nozomi from Love Live means a lot to me. I felt like when I booked Nozomi, I felt like I was just going to be doing deep voices forever, because everybody knows I have this deep voice and I can do it. So I was like, oh, I mean, that's cool. And I love doing those voices. You know, I love being Catherine. I love Ragyo, and I love Big Barda is one of my favorite characters I've ever voiced ever. But to finally be given the opportunity to play like someone under the age of 40 was nice. and to get to use like something a little bit, I mean, Nozomi still isn't close to my natural voice, but to do something on the other end of my register was really fun, and I felt super grateful. I was just, when I did Nozomi, I was like, I'm just so happy to be a part of this group. And I was like, this is a lot like Nozomi. She's just really happy to be a part of this group, just like me. You just, in general, you try to find things like that you can hook into to latch on to a character. And that was me for Nozomi. And then I mentioned Big Barda. She's another character I absolutely loved getting to play. Harley Quinn in Telltale Batman.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years I'd ever be Harley. Like, of all the Batman characters, it's like, if I had a chance at anything, I'd probably be Poison Ivy. I really want to be Batgirl. But Harley never would have thought. Yeah. And then to be in a Telltale game, because Telltale, I mean, I know that they unfortunately had problems, but especially at the time that I booked it, I'm like, Telltale's one of my favorite game companies. Yeah. So I was just like floored to get to be a part of that project.
You deserve it.
Is it hard to kind of, like, if you plan through like one of your works, to kind of remove your voice out of your head, like when you hear yourself like, oh yeah, that's me, like?
I do a lot of like voice matching and sort of things, and I've had people ask me, like, when you're doing voice matching, how do you make it sound not like you?
Right.
And my answer is, it's always going to sound like you to you. You're always going to be able to recognize your own voice. You're never going to fool your own ear. You've grown up listening to that voice. Just like a well-trained person listening can be like, oh yeah, that's Jim Cummings. And they'll be like, who? How did you get that? And it's like, oh yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So if you're listening for it, you're always going to be able to hear yourself. But it's the acting where the character really shines through and comes out, and separates from you. Because Lord knows I'm nothing like Ragyo in real life.
I could definitely tell you've had a lot of time pronouncing these names.
Oh, yeah.
So, as of recently, but throughout your career, you picked up some work with Netflix, and I think it's a really interesting time because as an American audience, we're getting dub versions
really fast. Yeah.
So what's kind of been your relationship with Netflix and your level of trust with them in order to continuously picking up roles each and every year?
I mean, I honestly am just lucky that I've gotten to work with Netflix as many times as I have. You get auditions through your talent agency, and Netflix works with a bunch of different studios around town. So just consider myself lucky, genuinely. I think that I really appreciate them trying to get more anime out here, and fast, like you said.
Yes.
I want to say my first experience working with Netflix on anime, though, was Little Witch, which was really, really early on, I feel like, in Netflix's anime game. Distributing the 2 movies, and Netflix produced the dub for those. And then also doing the series, which I was an actor on the movies, but then for the series, I got to voice direct and, worked with the client, worked with Netflix and the studio and everything to try and bring forth the best product possible, which I think we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. I feel like they're very passionate about bringing as much as they can to the world. And that's the other thing, is it's not just to the United States dubbed into English. It's dubbed into so many different languages, which is awesome.
Yes.
Because it's cool getting to hear anime in your own language,
Absolutely.
even if it's not English or Japanese.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that, because as a consumer, it's, in the day we're looking for the dub as much as we we appreciate the Japanese actors. They're like, well, we want to hear the English. We want to see the versatility here.
Exactly.
We'll be waiting for like 2 years or something. Now it's so simultaneous.
Yeah.
I love it. So.
I remember the days of watching a sub and waiting for the dub.
Will it ever come out, if that,
What are your Otakon? It's your first time at Otakon.
Yes, this is my first time at Otakon.
What are your expectations, I guess, from this con this weekend? Like, I know you said you wanted to get kind of like reactions out of everybody, but like out of the couple days that you're here, what do you expect to get?
I'm expecting to meet a lot of cool people and have a good time.
They're coming for you.
Like any convention, really.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to maybe go through the artist alley and buy some prints or pins. I love pins. I'm a big pin fan.
Nice.
But yeah, I like meeting people, sharing my fandom. I'm looking forward to that.
Pretty much used to that level of praise at this point. Like, everybody coming after you, pin rolls.
No, I still feel embarrassed every time. But it's okay.
So I think for the final question is we always kind of want to take a peek into the future here.
Okay.
You've been busy, and obviously, I think it's such a, it's a blessing to be a voice actor, especially in this climate where a lot of how you had to do and produce your work wasn't really affected by the pandemic, because most people had already had home studio sets up or isolation in order to do the work.
Yeah.
So that means business never stopped for you.
Yep. There's like a 2-week adjustment period. That's about it.
So is there any projects you might be able to fill us in with that we could keep a horizon? That's not going to get anybody yelling at you, especially Netflix, because
there's definitely stuff coming. I don't think I can mention any of it. Although on Twitter today I did see the client for Fena Pirate Princess mention that I'm doing some additional voices on that show. So you'll be able to check that out on Toonami in a couple weeks.
How does Twitter constantly get ahead of these NDAs?
Well, she's the producer, so she can break as many NDAs as she wants. That's it. Once she's tweeted it, I was like, okay, I'm free to say. But yeah, just that I do some voices. I can't say my character or anything, but I will be on that show when it comes out in a couple weeks. So.
I gotta say, you voice actors keep secrets better than the U.S.
We
government.
need to. We do not want to lose our jobs.
I feel like it's such a triggering question to ask, but if there's any little sprinkle of anything, we'll be happy to get a little jittery.
That's what I've got.
I'll take that.
Monkey tweeted it today, so I'm safe.
I'll take that. Well, we hope you have an amazing Otakon. Obviously, a lot of fans are here to see you, and hopefully you'll come back for many more years.
Yeah,
Please.
I'd love to come back again. Everyone's been super great. It's been a wonderful convention so far.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, everybody, and tune into the interview. And we'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Thanks.